Hopefully you should be able to hear that music just gently. So yeah, we're going to start the practice lying down or seated. It's completely your preference. If you're lying down, just have the soles of your feet on the mat, and you can knock your knees together if you like. If you're sitting cross-legged, having your hands on your thighs or in your lap. And if you're on your back, just placing your hands onto your belly. And if you've got your hands on your belly, just noticing your belly rising and falling with each inhale and each exhale. As you're inhaling, just noticing your hands as they just drift away from each other slightly. And then as you exhale, your belly deflates and your hands come a little bit closer towards each other. Morning, Jenny. You can either start lying down on your back or seated, just for a few moments. Just bringing ourselves into the room, bringing ourselves into practice. And if you've got your hands on your belly, just allowing them to calm down either side of you. Palms facing up. And if you're seated, you can do this as well, but obviously your hands won't be resting on the floor. But we're just going to do some snow angels. So as you inhale, draw your arms up by the side of you. They're still on the floor and they come right above your head, just still on the ground though. And then as you exhale, drawing them back down by the side of you. So really imagine you're doing those snow angels, and if you're seated, reaching your arms up towards the ceiling on an inhale, and then allowing them to float back down again on an exhale. You're going to work with your own breath here, doing it about 4 or 5 times, working as slow or as fast as your breath is allowing you. Inhaling up and exhaling down. And then once you've done your last one with your arms by the side, your feet, they're about hip distance apart. The soles of the feet are grounded onto the mat, and you're just going to allow your knees to knock over towards the right side. And they might not touch the ground here, just inviting a small little twist into the body. So just allowing them to knock over to one side. And then bringing them back up to centre and allowing them to just knock over to the left side. And then slowly bring them back into centre and then squeeze them in to your belly and towards your chest. And you can give yourself a little rock around here. Maybe a few little circles with your knees one way and then the other if it feels good on your back. And we're going to make our way to kneeling, and you can either rock over to one side and make your way up that way, or if you're feeling a little bit sprightly this morning, you can do a few rock and rolls through the spine. And rocking right over onto your hands and knees, coming to a tabletop. And then pushing yourself up to kneeling with your toes untucked. So we're in a high kneel here. On an inhale, first of all, make sure your knees are directly under your hips, so about hip distance apart. And if it's feeling a bit funky on your knees, you can either prop a pillow or something, or just roll up your mat so it's a little bit more padded under your knees. Or you can do this with your bum on your ankles, on your heels, if that feels a little bit more comfortable. So on an inhale, you're going to float your hands up. You're going to grab hold of your right wrist at the top and then dive towards the left. On an exhale, inhale, coming back to center, switching which hand you're holding, and dive towards the right. Inhale, coming back to center, open arm twist to the left, so you're reaching your right arm forward, left arm back. Inhale, coming back to center, and then twisting, opening, twisting the other way. Inhale, coming back to center. This time you're taking your arms to goalposts and then reaching your chest up. Squeeze your glutes ever so slightly as you just give yourself a little heart opener. And then inhale, bring your hands back to center. Take a big breath in. And a big breath out. Allow your hands to float down either side of you. And then inhale, reach up, grab hold of your right wrist. Dive towards the left. Inhale, back up. Dive towards the right. Inhale, back up, open arm twist. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, arms to goalposts, and exhale as you open up your heart, lift your chest. Inhale, bring your hands back to heart center. And exhale, allow them to float down. We've got one more of those. Inhale. Exhale, dive. Inhale. And dive to the right. Inhale. And exhale. Big breath in. And big breath out. Big breath in. Goalposts. And then coming back to center, bring your hands to heart center, and you can just sit back onto your heels. Close down the eyes for a moment. And then walk your hands out in front of you, coming to a child's pose. Bringing your belly towards your thighs, chest down towards the floor. You can take your legs as wide as you like here. Taking another big breath in. A big breath out. And inhale, coming back to a tabletop. So hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips, and on an inhale, dropping the belly, gaze up, tailbone up. Coming to your cow back, and then exhale, rounding through the shoulders, dropping the crown of the head down, tucking the tailbone under, cat back. Inhale, drop the belly, close through the eyes again, if they're not already closed. Exhale, puffing up through the shoulders. And then do this a few times, just working with your own breath. So inhaling one way, exhaling the other. Lovely. And then tucking the toes, we're going to find our downward facing dog. So your hips are pushing up and back. You can start to give a little pedal out through the feet. Relax through the neck, really grounding your knuckles down into the mat. Big breath in, big breath out. And then we're going to float our chest forward, coming to a plank position. Drop the knees. Really engage the tummy, the abdominals, and then bring your belly all the way down towards the mat, bending your elbows so they point back towards the back of the room. And finding a little baby cobra here, so firm up the legs. Really ground the tops of the feet down into the mat. Push the pubic bone down into the mat. Give me a little wave here so there's no weight into those hands. Lovely. And then pushing up and back into downward facing dog. Big breath in. Big breath out. Bend your knees, look towards your hands, and you're going to make your way all the way to a forward fold at the top of your mat, whether you take lots of little steps or one step at another, or you can even hop right up to the top of the mat. Just give me a big forward fold here. Lots of knee bend. Relax through the back of your neck. Give me a little shake of the head, yes and no. Lovely. And then inhale, you're slowly going to start to roll all the way up into your Tadasana. We're going to do a few little sun salutations here to warm up the body. Every time we come to Tadasana, you can either come with your feet together, so your legs are together, or if you do prefer to have them hip distance apart, or maybe a little closer or a little bit further away, just for balance, it just might feel a little better in your body. So it's completely up to you. I do quite like to have about a hand width in between my feet. So standing up nice and tall, just gently close through the eyes for a moment. Give me a big breath in. And a big breath out. On your next inhale, floating the hands up above your head, really reaching up towards the sky. And then as you exhale, forward fold over your legs. Relax through the back of the neck. Inhale and find your halfway lift. Draw your fingers up your shins. Extend through the spine, beautiful. And exhale, plant the hands on the floor and step back to downward facing dog. Big breath in. Big breath out. On an inhale, find your plank. You can either drop your knees or keep your knees lifted as you go high to low plank. Bending the elbows in your chaturanga. And then either you can find your baby cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale and find your downward facing dog. Big breath in. Big breath out. On your next inhale, you're going to bend your knees, look towards your hands, and exhale as you jump forward towards your forward fold. Inhale and find a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale and slowly start to rise, sweeping the hands up. And straight away, exhale, forward fold. Inhale and halfway lift. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step or jump back to your downward facing dog. Big breath in. Big breath out. And on your next inhale, float your chest forward to a plank. And then high to low plank, chaturanga, exhale. Inhale, baby cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, find your downward facing dog. Give me another big breath in here. And a big breath out. Bend your knees, look towards your hands and make your way to the top of the mat. On your next inhale, finding your halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Slowly rising all the way up, reaching the fingers up towards the ceiling. And again, exhale, forward fold. This is our last time of doing a full sun salutation. Inhale, find your halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, step back to downward facing dog. Take a big breath in. Big breath out. Inhale, float the chest through to your plank. And exhale, high to low plank, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or baby cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Big breath in. Big breath out. Inhale, look towards your hands and make your way to the top of the mat. On an inhale, finding your halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rising all the way up. Reach the fingers up towards the ceiling. This time, bring your hands together and bring them through to heart center. Take a big breath in. And a big breath out. Should feel a little bit warmer in the body now. We're going to find chair pose just in case we're not warm enough. Inhale, drop the hips back, bend through the knees, reach the arms up. If that's not comfortable in your shoulders or chest, just keep your hands at heart center or just give a big bend in the elbows here. Got another big breath in here. And exhale, you're just going to stay in your chair as you clasp your hands behind your back. Roll the shoulders, pull the knuckles away from you. Feel a slight opening or big opening in the chest. And then keep the clasp in the hands as you find a forward fold. So just finding a little bit of length through the legs as you allow the knuckles to just drop just behind you now. Oh, it can be pretty intense. Have as much knee bend as you need. Take another big breath in. And exhale, drop the hands down towards the ground. And you're going to step your left leg back. Sorry, your right leg back, I apologise. Step your right leg back into a lunge. And straight away open up into warrior two. So big shift in the hips now. We're facing the long side of our mat. I'm just going to take my socks off. A bit hot. I put the heating on and now I'm sweating. It's like Bikram yoga in here now. On an inhale, lengthen through the leg as you reach both arms up towards the ceiling. And exhale, rebend that leg, finding your warrior two. Inhale, lengthen the leg, reach both arms up. Exhale, warrior two. One more, inhale. Lengthen the leg, reach the arms up. Exhale, this time keeping the legs where they are. We're just going to find our reverse warrior. So flip the palms, reach the left arm forward and then find your sun warrior. Inhale, exhale, coming back to your warrior two. Find your sun warrior, inhale. Exhale, warrior two. One more time. Little collection of threes here. Inhale and exhale. Keep the legs where they are. You're going to bring the forearm down towards the thigh and reach the arm up and over. You're now going to reach that arm towards the back of the room. So the right arm, reach it back towards the back of the room, so towards your back leg. And then bring it right the way through. So we're doing a big circle, reaching it down, reaching it forward, reaching it up. Do that again. Big circle with the arm. Really reach it through and reach it up one more time. Stay here for another big breath in, really opening up the chest. Lovely. This time take the arm behind you and then if you can, we're going to bind under that leg. So reaching the left arm under the thigh and see if you can grab the hands behind you. You might not be able to, it's fine. Mine aren't really touching today, but it's all good. Another big breath in. And exhale, allow both hands to float down as you pivot on the back toe. So the ball of the foot is now in a lunge, facing the front of the mat. We're going to drop that back knee down onto the mat. You can roll up the side of your mat if you like, so it's less pressure on that back knee. Untuck the toes and reach the left arm up this time to come to a dragonfly twist. Jenny, it might be a little bit too much to do quite a closed twist, so you're more than welcome to do more of an open twist instead, opening towards that, towards the right side instead. Take another big breath in. Exhale. And then tuck the back toes and keep your body where it is, but just lift that back knee. So staying with the twist. Lovely, big breath in. And big breath out. And then this time we're going to come back to our lunge. See if you can lift both arms up. Ooh, facing the front of the room. Lots of strength in this front leg. Another big breath in. And then float both hands down either side of that front foot. Step back to a downward facing dog. Ooh, give yourself a big breath in. And a big breath out. Bend both knees, coming down onto your shins and sit back into your child's pose. Tell you what, with heating on, that's a pretty tough flow. Ooh. Take a few breaths here. Just coming back to your breath. And then floating up into tabletop. Tucking the toes, finding your downward facing dog. Floating the chest forward, coming to your plank. And then however you want to do your chaturanga, with or without your knees down, high to low plank. And then on an inhale, upward facing or baby cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Big breath in. Big breath out. Bend your knees, look towards your hands and make your way to the top of the mat. In a forward fold. On an inhale, finding a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. On your next inhale, slowly rising all the way up, reaching the hands up. And then exhale, allow them to float down either side of you. On your next inhale, finding chair pose, sitting your bum back, reaching the arms up if it's comfortable or just bringing them to heart center. Big breath in. Big breath out, stay where you are, but clasp the hands behind your back and do this the way that feels a little bit odd. So clasp them the wrong way round. Reach your knuckles away from you, roll the shoulders back. Staying low in your chair, and then keep the clasp as you find your forward fold. Take a few big breaths here. And then allow the hands to float down to just a traditional forward fold. And then you're going to step your left leg back this time, I believe. Lovely, I'm just going to turn to face the other way so I don't end up facing away from you. We're in a nice lunge here, we're going to find our warrior two. So coming up into your warrior two, and this time it's your right leg that's bent. Take a few breaths here. Just settling in. On an inhale, reaching both arms up as you lengthen through that front leg. Exhale. Bend that front leg. Warrior two. Inhale, reach both hands up. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale. Warrior two. Keep the legs where they are. Flip the palms, this time finding a reverse warrior. Inhale, reach the right arm forward as you come back into your reverse warrior. Exhale, find your warrior two. Inhale, reach and then come back. Inhale, coming back. Exhale, rather coming back. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, keep the legs where they are. Bring the forearm down onto the thigh. Reach that top arm up. And then take that top arm in big circles towards the back of the room first. Inhale is a big circle. Reaching towards the front and then up. And then exhale, it reaches back, it reaches down, it reaches front and up. Exhale. Inhale. And then if you've got it here, you can try and bind under that thigh. So reaching the right arm underneath the thigh, taking that top arm all the way back and around. You might find one side is a lot easier than the other. Really keeping a good bend into that front leg. And then floating both hands down onto the mat. So we're in a lunge, and then drop that back knee down onto the mat. Untuck the toes. Grounding through the left arm, you're going to reach the right arm up, twisting towards that bent leg. Few breaths here in this dragonfly. Keep reaching the hand up. And then tuck the back toes and lift the knee. And then on your next inhale, finding a lunge facing the top of the mat. Ooh, bit of strength to do that, yeah. And then exhale, float both hands back down onto the mat. Step the front foot back into downward facing dog. Take a big breath in. And a big breath out. Coming down onto your shins, toes together, sit your bum back into child's pose. Hopefully both sides are feeling a little bit more even now. Lovely. Floating up to a tabletop. Tuck the toes, find your downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward to your plank. Chaturanga, exhale, high to low plank. Inhale, upward or baby cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Big breath in, big breath out. Inhale, float the left leg up. So we're in a three-legged downward facing dog. And then open the hip and bring the heel towards the glute. And if this feels really good, you maybe want to circle the foot one way a few times and maybe the other. If it feels good, keep lifting that knee towards the ceiling. Keep opening up that hip. Another big breath in. And a big breath out. And then step that foot through to the top of the mat, outside of the left hand. And then you're going to step the back leg in, outside of the other hand, coming into a Malasana. Yay, our favourite. So lots of options again, remember here. You can even come up quite high if you like, into more of a goddess squat, just placing your elbows onto your inner thighs. And if you are right down here, you can have your heels lifted, that's absolutely fine. You can place a block or roll up your mat, place them under your heels. And if your feet are flat, try to have the whole of your foot on the floor if they are flat on the floor. So we're not caving into the inner arch. So really grounding down through that pinky side edge. So we still have that lovely lift into the arch. And then lift through your chest, extending through the spine. Got another 2 breaths here. It's like Marmite, this one. You either love it or you hate it. Another big breath in. And exhale, coming to find your forward fold. It's time, bend your knees as much as needed to place your hands underneath your feet. So we're going to come to gorilla pose. If you've got rings on, you might want to take them off, otherwise it might hurt. And you can put your hands underneath your feet as much as possible so your toes start to come up towards your wrists. Have as much knee bend as you want in this pose, and maybe even start to give your feet a little wiggle into your hands. Does feel kind of weird, but quite nice. Little massage for your hands. And then finding a little bit of stillness here, and maybe see if you can just lift your hips up towards the sky as you lengthen through your legs. Maybe see if you can relax through your neck a little bit more. And then slowly take one hand out and the other and sit back again into your Malasana, into your yogi squat. Another big breath in here. And a big breath out, hands on the floor, and just make your way to a downward facing dog. Give your legs a little wiggle. This time, inhale, reach your right leg up into the air, into the sky, into your three-legged downward facing dog. And then bend through the knee, bring the heel towards the glute, really lifting that knee up towards the ceiling. And if you did so on the other side, just circle the ankle one way a few times and then the other, if it feels good. And then we're going to step that foot through again into your Malasana. So step the right foot onto one side and the left foot onto the other. I promise this is the last time we'll do this. It's a really good one for your hips. So take another big breath in. And a big breath out. And can we start to stand up in this pose? Have you got the strength in your Malasana to stand up? Hey, well done. Give your legs a little wiggle. Help yourself up if you can't. Just, there we go, yeah. Give your legs a wiggle. Ooh. Inhale, float the hands up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And then you're going to step your right leg back into a lunge. Drop the back knee down. So we're in a low lunge here. You're then going to start to walk your hands back as you lengthen out through the front leg, finding our half splits pose. I've given up trying to say the Sanskrit because I can't say it. It's too difficult. And then if you want, you can really start to drive that heel forward as you flex the toes back toward your face. Have your hands wherever you need them for support. Lovely. And then walk your hands forward as you come back to your lunge. Reach your arms up into the air. And exhale, float them back down again. Find again your half split. Sit your hips back, lengthening out through that front leg. Inhale, reach the arms up, coming through your lunge. Exhale, find your half split. Yeah, we've got that one more time. Inhale. Reach the arms up. Norma, you're beautifully silhouetted against your curtains. Exhale, send your hips back. Lovely. And then walk back to a lunge, tuck the back toes. And you're going to step through to a forward fold at the top of the mat. I'm just going to close my, oh, I can't close the curtain. I'm going to sort the brightness out on here because I'm disappearing as the sun's coming out. So in a forward fold, you're slowly going to start to roll all the way up. Reach the hands up into the air. And then float your right hand down, keep reaching the left arm up. And then you're going to pick up your right foot into your hand. Come into a little bit of a quad stretch. And if you're familiar with Dancer, you can take Dancer's pose with a slightly different grip. So rather than having it closed, holding the outside, you can just switch it around so you're holding the inside of the foot instead with your, I don't know how you can, can't work out how to see this, with the thumb on your sole of your foot instead. And then on an inhale, we're going to start to push the foot into the hand behind us. So that will start to lift the leg. And our hand is out in front of us, a little bit for balance. You can keep reaching the arm forward, keep pushing that foot back into the hand. Really nice. So it starts to bow through your back. Beautiful, Jenny. Lovely, Moira. Great balance, everyone. Inhale, coming back up to centre. Float the foot down. Float the hand back down. Standing up nice and tall, and then reach both hands up into the air. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, this time stepping your left leg back into a lunge. Drop the back knee, untuck the back toes. You can roll up the side of the mat if you want, because I know going from this pose to the half split can sometimes be a bit funny on your knee. So feel free to add a pillow underneath there if you need it. And then we'll start to walk your hands back, lengthening out through that front leg rather. Come into your half split. It's called half split, so you know it's going to be pretty intense. And then flex the toes back towards the face. Ooh, we can definitely feel this. Once you start to activate through that foot. Lovely. Inhale, walk the hands forward, reach them up towards the sky, coming through your lunge. Exhale, float the hands down as you sit your hips back. Inhale, reach the hands up. Exhale, float them down. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Lovely. And then walk your hands forward. Coming to find your lunge. Untuck the back toes. Lift the knee. And step that back leg to the front in a forward fold, hanging over your legs, and then slowly starting to rise all the way up. Reach both arms up towards the ceiling, and this time float your left hand down, and then come to grab your left foot into the left hand. And then if you like, you can stay in this quad stretch. This is all good, still working on your balance, and also lovely stretch for the quad, for the front of the thigh. If you do want to take dance and you want to take it with the opposite grip, with the switched grip, so holding the inside of the foot instead, you're more than welcome. And then focus on that point in front of you, it's not moving. And then on inhale, slowly start to push the foot into the hand. Really nice. You might find one side a lot easier than the other. And that might be able to balance better on one leg than the other leg. You might find you've got a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more strength on one side than the other. Got another big breath in here. And then coming back to center, reaching both arms up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back to your downward facing dog. Big breath in. Big breath out. Find your plank, inhale. And then high to low plank, exhale. Inhale, baby cobra or upward facing dog. And then find your child's pose. Sit your bum back towards your heels. Relax your chest down towards the mat. Coming back to your breath. Finding yourself present in this moment. Lovely. Inhale, coming up to a tabletop and then making your way onto your bum. Going to take our legs as wide as comfortable. And then just find a bend into the left leg. So planting the foot onto the ground, wherever it lands. If that's really not comfortable, then just bringing it down into a half butterfly. But if that does feel good, then you can take hold of the ankle if you can reach it. If not, just placing your right hand down onto the mat. Lift your left arm up into the air and give me a little lean over that straight leg. You can find if you've got hold of the ankle, you can almost give it a little pull almost as it's grounding into the mat. And it just help you a little bit, find a little bit more length. And flexing the toes of that long leg. Flexing them back towards your face. Give me an active foot. And everyone relax your neck. Inhale, coming back up, lengthen through both legs and then bend through the right leg, planting the foot on the ground. Again, if it feels a bit crumpled here, just taking it into a half butterfly. And grabbing hold of the ankle, reaching the right arm up, and then give me a little lean over. And flex through that long leg, flex through the foot of the long leg. You will understand what I mean, it's great. And then relax through the neck. Another big breath in. And a big breath out, and then inhale, coming back up to center, taking both legs nice and long, sitting up nice and tall. If this is enough for you, you can use your hands behind you. So if you find that actually when you're sitting here, you're quite hunched over into your lower back, then just finding length through your spine, maybe pushing into your hands and just trying to lift through the spine, through your chest to sit up nice and tall. If you can sit up quite comfortably, then you can start to hinge forward at the hips, trying to maintain that length for a moment into the back. So as if we've got that halfway lift sort of feeling throughout the spine. Just going to hold that for another breath. And then if you like, you can start to relax over into the center, maybe bringing your hands into fists, one on top of the other, and just relaxing your head, or just bringing your arms, your forearms down. Just trying to find a little bit of comfort in this pose wherever you are. And the key to doing that is using your breath. On each inhale, just noticing what feels tight, where the tension is. And then on exhale, see if you can try to release that tension. And then everyone just give a little focus into the muscles, into your face. Because it's quite easy sometimes when we're in quite deep stretches to tense in other areas that aren't being used at all. So maybe your hands, maybe your face, maybe even into the shoulders. Just see if you can relax a little bit more. And then slowly starting to walk yourself up out of this pose. Give your legs a little wiggle and slowly start to bring them back into center. My voice went all funny then. This time you're going to take, have your feet about hip distance apart, so your legs are about hip distance apart, and just bring the right foot up quite close towards you. Sorry, the left foot. Do your left foot. I apologise. Yeah, let's do the one. Yeah. So bring it in as close as you like. So try not to do any rounding through the spine. So if you need it a little bit further away, then fine. Just finding lots of length through your spine. And then you can take hold of the ankle if you like, maybe the knee. Just pop the left hand just behind you. Lift and then twist towards that knee. Jenny, do a bit more of an open twist over that long leg. You got it, you know. She knows, she's had 3 babies. 2 babies, another one on the way. Give me another big breath in, finding length through the spine. And then exhale, coming back to center. We're just going to take that onto the other side. So lengthen that leg away and then bring the other one up. And then again, finding lots of length and just give me a little twist. then coming back to center, you're going to just slowly start to roll down onto your backs, bringing your knees into your chest and give them a good squeeze in. You're going to plant the left foot down onto the mat. So you're squeezing your right knee in towards your chest and then finding length through that right leg. So you can either take behind the thigh if that feels good, or maybe you can even reach up towards the ankle, maybe even grabbing hold of the foot. But if you're doing that and you're finding your shoulders are really rolling off the mat, then just take the grip a little bit further down the leg, or I should say up the leg, even though it feels weird because you're bringing your hands down, but it's further up the leg. And then holding this here for a few breaths. Hamstrings, they can be pretty tight on most people really. A few more breaths here. And then, excuse me, taking hold of your your leg in your right hand, whether that's onto the thigh or onto the calf or foot, just opening it out towards the side, but try not to lift your left hip up, so your left hip stays grounded. If that helps, you can place your left hand onto the hip just to make sure that you're staying grounded, but really taking that right leg out towards the side. And you can either point or flex through the foot, whichever you prefer. And then if this feels good, you can start to lengthen through the left leg, sliding it along the mat, keeping that hip grounded. And bringing the right leg back to center, keeping the length through the leg. See if you can pull it in a little bit closer to you with that left leg grounded on the mat. If it's really feeling crappy, then feel free to bend that left leg again and plant this foot onto the mat. Lovely, and then we're going to take the leg into the left hand this time, keeping the right hand down on the mat grounded, and just take it across the left side of your body. You might not be able to move it barely at all, an inch, maybe two. But you'll start to feel this down the side of the leg, and it is quite pinchy, so just be gentle with yourself. And bring that leg back into center and bend the knee, give it a hug. Start to circle the ankle one way a few times, maybe the other. Maybe you want to point and flex through that foot. Ooh. And then take the leg back up again, take that leg back, right leg back up, and just give it a shake. Just give it a little shake. Lovely, and then bring both knees into the chest. And this time you're going to plant the right foot down onto the mat and lengthen out through the left leg. Now you're 100% going to find one leg way easier than the other. Well, I wouldn't say way easier, but less hard. One side is going to feel probably a lot tighter than the other. Again, really grounding the shoulders. And don't lose your breath here. Really make sure you're breathing into these stretches. Just placing your right hand on top of your right hip, make sure it stays there as you start to open up the left leg towards the side of the room. And the right knee stays pointing up towards the ceiling, so it's not starting to open out towards one side or the other. It stays pointing up towards that ceiling, finding length through that left leg. Really grounding the right hip down. Take another big breath in here and lengthen through that right leg, so slide the toes along the mat. Woo! And then slowly bring that left leg back into center. And then take it with the right hand, plant the left hand down onto the mat or onto the floor, and just take it a little bit across the body, keeping the length through the leg. It's, again, yeah, very pinchy. Keep both hips grounded. And bring it back to center. Finding a little bit more length through it if you can. And then bend the knee, squeeze it in, circle the ankle one way a few times, and then the other. And then again, taking that leg up and give it a shake. And this time you're going to bring the right leg up to join it and give them both a shake. Really shake, 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 shake. Lovely. And then planting both knees onto, both soles of the feet onto the mat. You're going to take your left leg nice and long and bring your right knee into your chest and then take it across the body, finding a twist. You can shift your hips back onto the mat a little bit so they're more in the center of the mat, just to give a little space into that twist. And coming back to center. This time lengthening out the right leg, squeezing the left leg in and taking it across the body, finding your twist. Coming back to center, giving both knees one more squeeze in. And then taking your version of Shavasana, whether that's with your feet, soles of your feet on the mat, with your knees knocked together or your legs nice and long. Grab a blanket or an extra layer if you're going to get a little bit chilly. Thank you, Jenny. Bye-bye. Coming once again back to your breath. Just paying attention to the inhale, to the cool air coming in through your nostrils. Each inhale filling you up with fresh oxygen, fresh air. And each exhale leaving your body through your nose. Notice the heat as it leaves. Imagine each exhale leaving your body, and as it does, it's gathering up anything that you don't need. Whether that's tension, any excess tension, or Any negative thoughts or ideas, just imagine it gathering those up and just exiting your body. And each inhale is allowing new life into your body, new thoughts, fresh ideas. And slowly starting to bring a little bit of life back into your fingers and your toes. Maybe giving them a little wiggle. Maybe bringing your knees into your chest and allowing your ankles to circle one way and the other. And then slowly just rocking over onto one side. Rolling onto one side, curling up in a little fetal position. Just allowing your spine here to just settle for a moment. And then slowly pushing yourself up to seated. Just sitting cross-legged for a moment if that feels comfortable. But then just allowing your hands to just walk forwards. Just giving yourself a little extra forward fold into the practice, a little bit of extra love into your hips, into your back. And then walk your hands back up, switching which leg is in front if you are sitting cross-legged, and again walking your hands forward just once more. And then slowly walking back up, placing your hands onto your thighs or into your lap. Exhaling everything from your lungs. Take a big breath in. Big breath out. Big breath in. And exhale. This time sweeping the hands up towards the ceiling as you inhale. Bring your hands to touch and bring them through to heart center as you exhale. Thank you everyone for joining for today's practice. Hope that you enjoyed that.
Have a lovely birthday.
Oh, thank you.